welcome to episode 18 of Founders and Funders. This week, I have Ray Wang on this show. Welcome to the show, Ray.
Thank you, Ray. It's a pleasure to be here.
Nice. And we've been chatting for multiple years, on and off, because of COVID. But I'm glad I finally have a chance to tell your story, Luca Plus. And so tell me a little bit more about what Luca Plus does in terms of what problem it's trying to solve.
Yeah, sure. No problem. Thanks, Ray. It's a pleasure to be here, guys. So my name's Ray Wang. I'm one of the co-founders and CEO at Luca Plus. So we providing a B2B supplier credit payment solutions designed to ease cash flow for small businesses. And then, which means we actually help them to pay any suppliers in full amounts and allow them to repay us in 4 monthly installments. And currently it's been scaling the business. There's a strong stickiness coming from the market, from small businesses. And that's it. That's about us. Thank you.
Nice. And, some people see problems and they ignore them and pretend they're not there. Others lean into them. How did you identify this problem and why did it become a problem that you were passionate in solving?
Yeah. So I think that's actually coming from what I learned as an accountant, because although I'm running a Fintech business, but then my background is actually is coming from accounting background. So I've been looking after small business clients, helping them with everything basically before, like bookkeeping, tax, and business structure advices. So I've seen a lot of small business. They're running a good business, making good profit, but then periodically they experience cash flow. And a lot of the times, big banks actually say no to small business because they don't really care about them, because they probably already make enough money from the bigger players. So a lot of small businesses actually been left out. And then that's exactly where we saw the opportunities. We go, okay, let's build a couple of solutions to really help small business release their cash flow stress.
And what is your background? Like, where did you grow up and what were some of your childhood influences?
My background? Yeah, I'm Chinese. So born in Beijing. And I think, and my family values, I think I think that's actually impacted me a lot from day one, because my father used to be a policeman. He passed away. Yeah. And then my mom, she's actually, she later on became a businesswoman and then running, not her, but like a partnership hotel business. So I think I learned from my father as a policeman. I think that when you running business, when you partner with someone, integrity is actually quite important. Make sure that you always be transparent, don't do anything dodgy, and always be trustworthy, right? I think that's coming from my father. And then my mom, obviously she's got the experience how to run a business, how to manage the team. And then I see she even now, she still sometimes give me different ideas about how I can actually better talk to the partners or investors, or better manage the relationship with the team members. So which is great.
Yeah. And what did you decide to study in school and what was your earlier career like?
Oh yeah, well, I started accounting when I was at uni, and I think because number one, because my mom also had some accounting background as well, and then she thinks accounting is actually a good career to basically help business to solve some problems, because not a lot of big business owners understand numbers. Accountants is the one actually know how to use the numbers to tell the real story about the business. So I think that's actually, it sounds pretty fascinating. And plus, I think also at that time, accounting degree is something that helped me to migrate to Australia.
What was your first, where were some of the first places that you worked after you finished your studies?
Oh, yeah, some pretty places like, I think, Nike is one of them, right? Nike Australia, actually Nike Pacific, because at that time, I think we look after business from both regions, Australia and New Zealand. So that was a good time to work as an accountant at Nike. Yeah. And also later on, I found out the founder of the Nike, he's actually used to be an accountant as well.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah. Right. And it was so funny because I read his book, just because he's coming from an accounting background. And then at the beginning, all his employees all had an accounting background. So he only,
Mm.
so he will only hire either accountants or people with accounting knowledge and background. So it's so funny.
What's it like working at Nike? Because I only know it as a brand of products that I've had in my closet for years since I was a kid. What's it like
Yeah.
being on the inside of Nike?
Really good culture, I would say.
Mm.
Yeah, definitely. I think, yeah, Nike is definitely, I would say that the one of, well, yeah, one of the best company I've ever worked for, because I think number one, well, it's a big brand, right? From culture wise, they quite open to different ideas, because what I mean by that is, for example, although I was working as an accountant at Nike, but then I actually had an opportunity to actually work into sales or marketing departments.
Mhm.
So they don't really care where you're from, what you do, as long as they see you as a talent. You basically can move around, whether you want to do HR or whether you want to do like customer service or even IT, right? As long as they see you as the right asset, it's got
Mhm.
potential, and they're happy to move you around. And then not only based in Australia, you can actually work worldwide. Like many of our staff, Nike staff, used to work in like a short project for 3 to 6 months in US
Mhm.
and Singapore, places like that. So yeah, and also plus the facilities was quite good as well. They
Yeah.
have like employee store, which is a really dangerous place, because you walk into the shop, you see like 50% brand new Nike Jordan shoes.
Mhm.
I can tell you that place is like you never out with bare hands whenever whenever you go into it. Yeah.
So are the
Yeah.
products at a significant discount or are they free? Like what is the store like for staff?
So yeah, so in the employee store, everything is like 50% off.
Oh, wow.
All the yeah, I know. And then I remember that every year they also organize us to go to the Nike's distribution center. I
Mhm.
think it was like because sometimes we have those default products,
Mm.
and but they see us as default products, but it's really for us, it's kind of like brand new. Is
Yeah.
for example, they could be like some black color on your shoelaces, and then they can't
Yeah.
sell to the customer for their like sell for $20. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
So it
Yeah. It's just
sounds like
crazy.
a great place for a young person to work with incredible
But
opportunities. Yeah.
yeah,
What
definitely.
what drove you to leave Nike, such an incredible place to work? What was the tipping
Yeah.
point for you?
I think, yeah. The reason why I left the company is not because it's not a place to be, because I still learn a lot from my role and the leadership that I engage with. So yeah, a lot of stuff like analytical skills and the Excel skills was ba- like how I implement right now in Luca Plus is what I learned from Nike. But I
Uh,
guess at that, yeah, but I guess at that time, the reason I left was because because working for Nike, you only do accounting works for one company. And
mhm.
then at that time, I had a chance to, yeah. So a lot of my friends actually start doing their own businesses, and they thought, oh, Ray, you're an accountant, so can you actually help me out doing my bookkeeping to my
Mhm.
investors, and also tell me whether I should run my business as a sole trader or just like like a company. And I realized I know nothing about those, and I was like, oh, I can tell you how much Nike shoes cost, but yeah, but I don't have any knowledge like that. But later on, I started doing my own investigation to help them out, and I realized that area is probably something I have more passion with, just to really work with small business owners, finding out what kind of challenge and pain points they have, and then utilize the accounting knowledge to help them out in the end. So,
Mm.
and then that was the time I left Nike to work as like a tax accountant. So then I've been dealing with all the different accounting related issues to the different small business from different industries. So I think that was that was a real changer for me
And for
in a
me,
good way.
for me, when I left consulting at a big four firm and you can travel everywhere and you can get paid really quite well for a person in their 20s. when I incorporated my first company, I was amazed how different the game is when you're your own business. Like, you get to define your own title. You get to define your own rates. You are
Yeah.
managing your profitability. You're managing
Yeah.
you get to choose the projects you work on. You get to brand
Yeah.
yourself. And it becomes kind of addictive because you get so much power. You get so much control to
Yeah.
work when you want
Well,
to. You can work a lot if you want to earn
yeah.
more money. And
Yeah.
was that the same feeling for you compared
At
to
the
Nikkei?
beginning, 1%, but later on, I guess you probably realize that as well. Those are the shining parts you just talk about it, right?
Yeah,
There's a lot
yeah.
of, yeah, yeah. So I guess it's like like investment, right? So the high gain is also the risk will be higher as well. And then there will be
Mhm.
more things you might sacrifice in your life to help you achieve your business goal, which is, quite different as an employee. You work for someone, technically you can just be there at 8:30 and leave at 5 and don't care about
Yeah.
anything else, right?
Mm,
But then
yeah.
running your own business, well, sometimes it's 24/7,
Yes. Yeah. You're the last
most of the time.
person.
Yeah,
You're the last person who gets
that's
to
right.
leave.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So,
And also,
mhm.
that's also a joke that sometimes I made as well. Some people ask me, how do you feel about being CEO in the business? But I'm like, pretty bad because you will never get promoted. You never get
Yeah.
promoted. Yeah. Yeah. You know,
That's true. So
yeah.
you found a problem in the market where your friends who you're helping, you notice cash flow challenges for small businesses, which is quite often. I've dealt with this in
Yeah.
the past when suppliers need you to pay their invoices or partners aren't paying your commissions. And
Mhm.
w- when I talk about your company to people, they always ask me, what's the name of the company? And I'm like, oh, it's Luca Plus. And there usually is a kind of blank reaction to it because that doesn't necessarily translate to short-term cash flow challenges for businesses. How did you come up with the name of Luca Plus? What does it mean and why?
Yeah, that's a really good question. So where we got the name from was because there was actually a guy called Luca Ali. He was an Italian mathematician. So he was actually the father of double entry bookkeeping.
Mhm.
So he actually created the debit credit. He created the accounting, the basic accounting concept. So and then he basically created the order in the financial chaos. So imagine the world now if it's basically everything is based on debit and credit, right? And then it doesn't matter if you do shopping or you're like, well, that's probably the first thing that they'll talk about when you get like things like a loan. So they always talk about credit and debit. And I think for us to put the first name Luca, and it's basically because we're trying to honor his legacy, and also we want to take a further step because he's the one that has created the double entry, so and double ledger. So we would like to build a triple ledger,
Mhm.
in which actually help enhance the trust, enhance the transparency, and also underpin the efficiency. So just to help out the small business and to grow and the scale.
Yeah. So I think you and I spoke about it before. It's similar to the short-term cash flow challenge that you're solving for businesses, similar to the challenges I was working on when I was at Afterpay. And
Mm.
so you built this Luca Plus by with from scratch. And I can only imagine all of the things you had to put in place. I worked in credit risk and you created your own risk decisioning to decide whether or not to approve businesses to help. And how did you build it all from scratch? What did the first version of your product look like and who was your first customer?
Yeah, I think for us is definitely, although I'm not coming from a finance background, but then I think the coming from accounting background really help us to build the metrics for credit and risk assessment for Loop Plus at the beginning, because I think for us is more about understanding our customers better, understanding whether or not they need us, and understanding whether we can help them. Right. I
Mhm.
think that's actually really differentiate ourselves comparing with any other fintech or finance product in the industry. Because, for example, right, a lot of the fintech business I have experience with, and I know some how they make credit decision making is they don't care about whether the company's making money or not. You just upload the bank statement, they see enough cash flow in and out, they make a decision, give you like, 40, 50K or 100K, right? But
Mhm.
then but without really knowing whether they can really help the business in the long run or not. Because the way we build our algorithm is really making sure we, we actually work as a right medical treatment rather than drug, right?
Mhm.
Because a right medical treatment was like, oh, someone got injured or someone got sick, they use
Mhm.
they use your product, and then you can help them to get back to track, right? Rather
Mhm.
than, which is different to a drug.
Mhm.
You get addicted to it without actually knowing, oh, do you need it, or is it something that makes you feel better, good at the beginning, but then it kills your business in the end, right?
Mhm.
Yeah. So I
Yeah.
think that's the principle we built how we build the algorithm to make sure that we can help them out.
Who was your first customer?
Is I wouldn't say the name, but then is actually
How did you find them?
yeah,
How did they find you?
referral, because
Okay.
that's basically how we exactly how we grow and scale the business, because
Mhm.
we don't knock on the doors one by one to small
Mhm.
businesses. So we do business with our channel partners like accounting firms,
Mhm.
mortgage, like business finance brokers,
Mhm.
bookkeeping firm. So we got that client from a virtual CFO, and he goes, "All right, I know this guy's running a good construction business. It doesn't mean that the business is going to die, but then they actually need some kind of short-term cash flow solutions to help them periodically." So that was the first user, and then about, I think now we're running this product for like nearly 4 years now. So he's still using us. Yeah. So yeah, and then with no issue, no defaults, it's just like, really good business to help to support.
Hmm. And how did you fund
Yeah.
the payment since you're helping businesses with their short-term cash flow? You have to have cash to help them with their cash flow. How did you raise the money for your business, if internally or with investors?
With definitely with investors,
Mm.
because, well, like I mentioned before, so I'm coming from accounting background, and I mean the another good thing about working as accounting in the accounting firm is like, which clients has got the money, right? And they are they trust you. You'll be like, oh, Ray, for example, Ray, he's got like 20 properties. All right, he's kidding, right? Let's go with that, pitch our ideas. So that's basically where we got our angel funding at the beginning. But
Mhm.
obviously that's the reason why it's easier for us, because it's not we already been doing business with the
Mm.
clients for like many years.
Yeah.
There's our trust.
Yeah.
So yeah. Yeah.
That's so convenient. You were building those relationships over years so that when you had an opportunity, they would be ready for it.
Yeah. Yep, definitely. I think it's even now is with the new investors. I think we see that as a lot of times a relationship building process as well. It's not like you do grocery shopping in Woolly, right? You
Mhm.
buy something, they go, that's a product, that's a deal, right? So sometimes it's like a relationship building.
Mhm.
They need to know you, they need to see, all right, your company actually achieved certain milestone, and then that'll be the time that they put the check on the table.
Yes, I think so. With the company that I started last year with my co-founder, a lot of our activities is not raising money, but bringing people on our journey or keeping them up to date because one day we'll want to raise
One day,
money, but it's easier
that's
to raise it when they've been chatting with you for 2 years and following the
definitely, yeah.
progress than to introduce yourself and then tell them all the progress you made 2 years ago in the
That's
last year. Yeah.
absolutely, yeah.
And you mentioned that you're you're Chinese and you were you born in Australia or did you migrate to Australia?
Migrate to Australia. So I
How old
came
were
to
you?
Australia when I was 17.
Okay.
So yeah, yeah,
And so this being a very relationship based business. What was your experience like when you were building relationships throughout your career and now? What are any tips or any challenges that you faced?
To build relationship in the with like partners.
Yeah.
I think number one, always, just to make sure that be a like very transparent person, right?
Mm,
Don't do anything dodgy behind the screen. Just like I think, integrity is certainly a big thing.
mm,
Make sure that you always do something that can make people trust you a bit more, right? So I think that's applies to any kind of industry, right? It doesn't matter whether you work as accountants, so that helps with my early career as well, right? So,
mhm,
so really trying to be on and like an absolutely honor with whatever the services or tasks you receive from your clients or from your employer. So and then take the whole ownership and then finish it onto the end. Yeah, that's the impression. So then because a lot of times it's like a network effect, right? So you
mhm.
building something at the beginning, and then it's word of mouth will come later on. So that will be the time you actually scale your business or scale your career.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah,
I noticed during my time in Australia doing business that people can tell when you're not being completely transparent or when you're spinning a story around facts to not be
yeah,
completely vulnerable about like the pros and cons of where your business is at or where your product is. And so I think more often than not in the long term, people find out and then it affects your relationship. So I often, and also it's
yeah,
easier to remember when you just tell the truth.
yeah,
Yes. And
yeah,
people
yeah.
appreciate that too, because then
Mm,
you're not showing a front of perfection and you're being honest about what's
yeah,
great about your company, but then you also are honest about the things that
yeah.
can be improved for sure.
Yeah, definitely. And also another tips I think is like, for sure you can't help or you can't serve everyone.
Mhm,
And that it's actually good to get knowns or
mhm,
because which means you probably don't have the right values sharing or same goal you want to achieve, different or your different way of doing things or different vibes, right? So you rather focusing spending more time to the one that you can really make the whole thing more smooth and then you can grow faster, right? So rather than spending time with the one that's actually frustrating you the most, right?
yeah,
Yeah,
I totally agree.
yeah,
Trying to force a deal to get through when you don't have the right products and then they need something you don't
right.
have is very frustrating for
That's
both
right.
parties. Yes. And then also
Yeah,
distracting from your main offering. Um,
definitely. Yeah.
what's been your experience in Australia with starting a company from scratch and the support you get from different initiatives? I know that you're part of Stone and Chalk, the incubator. What were some other programs or communities that you found helpful during your time building out Luca Plus?
Yeah. Oh, well, number one, I think Australia is a great place to start your own business because, at the beginning, you don't really have to worry about dealing, just basically dealing a lot of relationship with the like governments and
Mhm.
get drunk to show them dinners and lunch, right? Spending a lot of money just on that rather than get anything done, right?
Yeah.
So which is great. And then also it's very easy to open up a company and to sell your products or services, right?
Mhm.
And also the support from the ecosystem is also great. So you like Victorian governments or state governments, they have a lot of different grants
Mhm.
can help you out if you really don't have enough cash, right?
Mhm.
There's certain grants available for startups, for small businesses, and then the amount of the grants is also different.
Mhm.
Okay. Yes, example, right? R&D is a pretty good one. You get like basically nearly 50% of all your R&D expenses refunded to your bank account, right? So,
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
other free money is like small business grant or I don't know if they still have that, like some commercial grants, right? Up to $1 million. Yeah.
Yeah.
Things like that. Yeah.
Very
Yeah. And from, yeah. Yeah. And the ecosystem wise, I think like Store and Chalk, which is really great. I think for me, I think when startups start their journey, I think that was the number one mistake we made in the past was like we actually had our own office
Right.
And yeah, and it just, yeah, we just wasted so much money and time to manage our own office. But whereas One Truck is just nice and simple. You get a desk. All you care every day is like, how do I build my product and how do I sell my product, right? And
Hmm.
then they look after everything else. And I don't have to worry about buying toilet paper for my staff anymore. And just really, yeah, yeah, just focus on, yeah, building and selling the products. And also like, yeah, places like that, they also provide you different resources as well. So well, I guess that's how I got to know you, right?
Hmm.
Yeah. I think they did an introduction. So yeah, a lot of the resources and the investors, they can also introduce to startups from different sectors. So yes, it's really great. I would say no brainer. Definitely find a partner like them to start with your business rather than, or you can start from a garage, right?
Hmm.
But then, yeah, rather than straight away getting your own office, definitely not. Yeah.
Was that one of your biggest regrets in your journey, or what were some of the biggest challenges in your last several years running Luca Plus?
Yeah, definitely. I think that's I would say one of the regrets, but then not the biggest regrets because, yeah, I think, yeah, having our own on our own office, wasting the time and money is one thing. But then, what's funny at the same time, just because we had an office and then we actually subleased our part of the office to another startup project. And
Mm.
then later on, that project is doing so well, their co-founder actually has become one of our investors. So it's actually, yeah, good and bad, but still, not everyone as lucky as we are, right?
Hmm.
Yeah, definitely, I'll really be careful wasting your money to start your own office. I think that I guess one of the biggest regret we had is rather than rather than spending a lot of time talking to our potential users,
Hmm.
we actually decided to build the product first. I think that's probably the mistake. I would say 99% of the startup actually make, right? So we at the beginning, we always believe as long as we build the best product in the world, the
Hmm.
product itself will sell.
Hmm.
But that's never the case.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I
So,
would say that's probably yeah, yeah,
so
yeah.
instead of building the
I'll
best
rather
product,
spending
what would you do?
So I was going to say, so rather than building the best product, I think, because to be honest, you would never be able to build the best product without talking to your customers or
Hmm.
potential customers. Right.
Hmm.
And I think another thing I learned and then another suggestion I want to give to all the other new startup co-founders or founders is like, at the beginning, make sure that you spend enough time to talk to your potential customers. Who are
Hmm.
you going to sell your products to? Who's going to be the buyers, right? Because because the good thing is like you will know exactly what they need, and they will become your first customer, right?
Hmm.
So imagine like if you build something straight away, someone will buy it. How good is that? Rather than, oh, I built something, but then when you sell it to the customer, no, that's not what I need. Can you change
Hmm.
this? Can you
Yeah.
change that? Right. And then you wasting your, I don't know, sometimes could be like 3 to 6 months, build something that no one needs.
What was one of the most valuable insights you gained talking to your customers that you then built into a feature?
I think is number one, like I said, number one is really understand what they need
Hmm.
and also why they have that problem and challenge
Hmm.
is definitely the key thing rather than just, all right, here you go, that's a product. Yeah, I think that works every single time. And then also at the end of the journey, we receive different feedbacks. That's basically how we actually build the product even better, just to really understand what they need and why.
Yeah. What are some of the memorable things that your customers said when you met them?
It will be something like your product is so easy to use.
Hmm.
And then that really make my life easier and really save my business. Yeah,
Mm.
because like I mentioned before, at the moment, just because I think just because of COVID, a lot of the big banks actually say no to small businesses.
Yeah.
So they really need some help, yeah, from someone. So then that give us the opportunity to really, be the hero, right? And then help them out. So yeah.
Nice. And
Mm.
what are some of the next milestones for Luca Plus? You have now stabilized your company, you've grown, you have a healthy number of customers. What's in your horizon? What's the end goal for Luca Plus?
So the end goal for Luca Plus is to build a fintech platform that's basically made the whole working capital become more efficiency. And then so that we can help more small business to grow and to scale. Yeah, because a lot of, so at the moment, the way I see Luca Plus is like, we're not really like a payment. Yes, we are using, we have a product called Luca Pay, which is a credit payment product to help small business is Cashflow. But then really what we're trying to solve is the capital efficiency issues. So a little bit similar to, I guess, like a Tesla, because a lot of people think Tesla is actually a car company, but
Hmm.
they are not. So they are actually an energy efficiency company, right? So, it's similar, I think it's a similar mission with us as well. So yeah, we really will make sure that our platform can attract different capital worldwide to help small business that really needs our product solutions and give them peace of mind, improve their life.
Very good. What's probably one of the biggest failures that you can remember that you learned the most from?
That's a good question. I think biggest failure, I don't think I have anything like that because obviously I'm a human, right? I made a mistake all the time.
Mhm.
Every single day, but then everyone does. But for me, it's about learn a good way. I mean, to know what's going on and also to learn from it and then make it better,
Mhm.
right? So I don't think I do have any big failure, but then I guess that's also because of my attitude to failure, right? So
Mhm.
I just quickly realize it, learn it, and then make a move.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
what would you be doing if you couldn't work on Luca Plus anymore? Like someone came and bought it from you or you sold it. What would you be doing otherwise?
I think I will certainly not go. I'm not gonna. I don't think I'll be looking for a job again, right? So yeah. So I think it's probably another. I'll probably start another startup project that I think probably focus a bit more on AI, right? So I
Mhm.
think like for example, our AI agent is probably it's something quite interesting, and then I've started learning a lot by myself as well. So I think that's probably definitely something related to AI.
Mhm. Nice. And what problem do you see in the world today that hasn't been solved that you would want to solve? Like, I know you want to work with AI agents, but what problem
Mm.
do you see that bothers you frequently, but you're not fixing it,
I think,
but you would want to?
yeah, I think definitely efficiency, right? And I think efficiency is one thing because I think that the people who are gonna benefit from AI is the one that actually really know what they're doing.
Mhm.
For example, right, like I think me coming accounting background, so there's still a lot of efficiency issues can be solved by AI agents
Mhm.
because there's a lot of repetitive works in the accounting process, and if we build the right products that can make a lot of accountants job much easier, because I think that's comes to another idea I had, because I
Mhm.
think what a lot of small business users need is from accountants, it's not someone just meet them like, once per year, do their taxes.
Mhm.
They actually really need someone to kind of like a virtual CFO, really be engaged with the business, tell them at least on a monthly basis, hi, what's going on with my loss, and whether the business is making money or not. If not, why not? Like how do we actually how can utilize the number to realize a real story and then make it better? I
Mm.
think that's probably something I'll be focusing on. So probably still a little bit related to accounting and finance,
Mhm.
right? Yeah, but really finding out solutions to make everything more efficient.
Nice. I have a couple more questions for you. What is the best advice that you've received, and what is the worst advice that you've received?
The best advice I receive, I think, will be something I learned from the book. I guess I'm sure you've heard of the books as well. It's called The Principles by another Ray, right? Ray Dalio.
Oh yeah,
Um,
Ray Dalio,
yeah,
classic.
yeah, Ray
Mhm.
Dalio. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, so I think so that he's a lot of the concepts in their book actually has pretty good impact for me in doesn't matter whether it's in business or in my life, right? For
Mhm.
example, in my business, when we talk about ideas, we don't just, oh, that's a great idea, let's build it. So the basic concept we need to follow is like whether the idea has been is a validated idea or evidence based idea, right? So you need to, which means yes, good idea. So let's go talk to your potential customers and then get a validation from them. Yes, that's really what they need, really solve them a big problem, and then get evidence. All right, so yes, the products kind of, or your MVP kind of does that, right? Rather than, right, great idea, let's build it, and then you're ending up with no one wants to buy your product. So I think that actually applies to everywhere. For example, I like even with my sales team, so never tells a real story. Let's get validation. Let's get evidence about your performance or understand why it works or it doesn't work. So I think that's something I think, something I learned a lot and then really have big impact. And there's other things as well.
What's the worst advice you've received? I receive bad advice all
The
the time.
Oh, do you?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, I think so.
Uh, yeah. The worst advice so far, I think it's probably nothing in the, it's good questions. Yeah. So I think it's probably just don't touch Bitcoin that earlier. Yeah.
That's a great
Yeah.
one.
So they'll be like, people talking like,
Too risky.
cause I remember that to be honest, I actually touched Bitcoin like a long time ago. Right.
Okay.
And
What year?
I found it was
What
quite interesting.
year? I think
I
I'm like
think it was 2000.
2017. No, 2015 was when I was like,
2015.
yes.
I think mine was 2010.
Oh, wow. Okay. You're like way before me.
Yeah. And but see that the first time I heard about Bitcoin was, I think there was some like online marketing agencies. If you do the marketing survey, they
Mhm.
reward you with Bitcoin.
Oh,
Right?
wow.
I was like, oh, this is quite interesting. So I actually received some Bitcoin, like not a huge amount, and then well, probably one thing I regret is now I lost
The
the
wallet?
key to
Oh, no,
into
the key to the wallet.
the that's a wallet. That's
Oh,
right. And
no.
it's just, it's just, well, not a huge amount. So, that makes me happier, but then, but still, right? So every dollar counts, right? So, but I was asking people around, like, well, what's a Bitcoin? Like, it's quite interesting. And I really want to, learn more about it and then see how I can, get more from it. And I think there was like someone older than me that did research of, don't touch it. It's like, it's got a lot of stuff involved with like, money laundering and dark web, dirty deals, right? So,
Mhm.
and then I kind of put that away. So, which I shouldn't, but now we like, all the money's probably all coming from Bitcoin, right? So we wouldn't be like need to talk to different investors, I guess. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
What do you want to be known for? What do you want people to say about you when like you're no longer here?
So to be honest, I don't really pay too much attention about what and how people say about me,
Mhm.
right? Because I think for me, the actions always louder than the words, right?
Mhm.
It's about what I achieve and how it helps
Mhm.
people. I guess in the end, if what I've done so far can really helps people to make a difference in a positive way, make their life easier, that will be something that I'm quite happy about, right? So I think, that's it.
Perfect. And
Mm.
for the people, small business owners out there who have the problem you're trying to solve, short-term cash flow challenges, how do they learn more and what's the best way to get in touch?
Oh, cool. All right. They can, log into our website at www.lucaplus.com, and or they can reach out to me from LinkedIn, search for Ray Wang and from Luca Plus. Yeah.
Okay, excellent.
And
I
I'm
will
happy to,
put them.
happy to.
Excellent.
Yeah,
I will put those in the show notes and I will share them with all our guests.
great. Thank you so much, Ray.
Thank you very much, Ray.